everyone. This is Ronnie here. I'm a coach and I also happen to be a holistic psychiatrist. And this is meant to be a series of conversations with coaches, very, very powerful coaches for my Empowerment Blueprint program. And today I have got Jacquie Moses with me. Jacquie, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So just to give people a context of this conversation, I was telling Jacquie before we press record that I had all this interview set up in a way to share with people about my Empowerment Blueprint program and why it's going to be amazing and why people need to join. And the thing is that it's already sold out. So that leaves us in a very amazing space where we can both serve and we can come from a place of love. I would like to say who you are to me, Jacquie. I've known about you for a very long time because we have been in the Three Principles community. It was only since last year and since joining the AGC School for Coaches together that I really got to see beyond the Jacquie I thought I knew. I always knew you were powerful, but what struck me was you were so present. And I think I have got to know you even better this year. And also, another thing that most people won't know is we did record something. I think it was last year. We recorded something similar to this. And well, I got behind with my scheduling and I did not put it out there. And then I got back to Jacquie after a few months, sheepishly apologizing and then said, look, I hadn't put it out there. And you said, Ronnie, I've changed since then. We don't need to use that. I'm happy to do another conversation with you. So that speaks volumes who you are and how you're so open to learning and being able to present yourself as a complete beginner.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Warnie. I feel really moved by what you said. I feel like, ugh, thank you. And thank you for seeing me. What I want to say. Thank you for seeing me and hearing me. You know, it's one of the most important things in the world is to be seen and to be heard. And I think if I was to drill down all of my work and all of what I do on a day-to-day basis outside of work,
Yeah.
that has the most impact. And I would say seeing myself and then seeing others. The more I see myself and embrace myself, all of who I am, good, the bad, the things I want to change, the more the more present I am to curious I am in the presence of others and their divinity and who they really are. So thank you for being that for me today and always. You have that power of seeing people and you love to learn as well. And I'm really inspired by you.
Thank you, Jacquie. And there was a reason I wanted you to be part of this program. For me, when we talk about empowerment, and there might be several different programs about empowerment. And there we know that it can be quite like we can talk about empowerment in a very okay, this is what you need to do to feel empowerment, and there is a deeper level of seeing empowerment. And I knew I wanted to have you in my program as one of the speakers because of who you are and how you show up and your grounding in the principles. So I was very clear that there is one person I would, because I want my members to really have a deep understanding or at least start looking in this direction. I knew you were the best fit to come and speak to them about that. So having said that, Jacquie, my question to you is, how would you define empowerment?
And I'm gonna empowerment means when I think about empowerment, I think about self-empowerment. And because it comes from the individual. And self-empowerment to me is consciously creating the life that you want, like really consciously and intentionally. shaping and creating a life that works for you. And we can also empower the people. But I see, and used to think I could empower the people. And now I see that I can point them in the direction of their own empowerment, internal, inherent empowerment. We are so much more than we think we are. And when I was growing up, I thought life happened to me and that I didn't have a lot of choices in things or had limited choices. And then I would accept a certain lot of will to get what I wanted. And I see self-empowerment as knowing that we have and are born and designed with an internal, an inherent, innate power where we can kind of power ourselves up, get ourselves into action or create the things that we want for ourselves. And they could be everyday things. They can be from small things to larger things, larger goals that we may have in our life. Well, I think the most important thing for me is knowing that power that we're all looking for is internal. We do lots of things to feel powerful. We just look at all we have to do when we look at this question or look at empowerment is just look at our own lives. Each individual look at their own life and you can see all the things that we've done that have external things that we've tried to get and achieve to make ourselves feel powerful or empowered. And really, what we're talking about is life happens from the inside out. And when we start to see that life happens from the inside out rather than from the outside in, we start to see that there is something boundless, there's boundless power there, unlimited power that we have access to. And that's power to create, that's power to paint a picture, to have children, to heal, to create the things that we want for ourselves, support other people. There's this innate power that we have as individuals.
Yeah. Yeah. And we can go about life seeing that power in someone else and thinking, oh, but I lack that, There's someone else that has the power, not me.
Yeah, and I think if we can recognize that power in other people, then that's a sure sign that we have it in ourselves. We can't recognize something that's not in ourselves. But sometimes we first become aware of that power in other people. That's where it first gets ignited, or it's a catalyst.
Yeah.
And that's when we recognize that they've got something and I want that. And you don't know what it is, but there's something about them that you want. But when we talk about power, I just want to be really transparent in this conversation before we go any further. We're not talking about power over anybody else. We're talking about a life where you feel you can take responsibility and you can move towards the things that are important to you. And we're not saying that you won't have any challenges moving towards those things that you want, or the things you want to create, but knowing that that is possible, and you don't have to accept the life that we may find ourselves in, or the situation that we might find ourselves in. That we have the capacity, innate capacity to change. That is just part of who we are. and in change, and we can actually think about the changes that we want to have in our lives and move towards them.
Mm. Yeah, beautiful. So on that lines, I know that you are someone who guides people or shares with people about the three principles understanding. Like I've already said, you have been doing it for a long time, and even in populations or with people where people, others would say, oh, it's a gone case, there's no point of even going there. And you have just shown with your team how actually no one is broken, and it's just like they need to hear something that will reignite that's already true about them. So tell us something in summary, in essence. Can you say something about the principles, and then many people in the three principles community have know about the principles, and then they might also be a bit confused about being and creating a higher version of ourselves. So I have come across some people who are confused. They think, but I understand the three principles, but if that's how life works, and we are experiencing the principle of thought taking form in the moment, so why are we saying that we need to do something about it, or create a different version of ourselves? So I would like to speak about both of this.
Yeah, sure. It's a valid confusion. I mean, I was a bit confused at first when I heard about this being or something. Why do you need to be being something? And I've got more and more clear about that. So the three principles, for anyone that doesn't know about the three principles, is an understanding that points to how all human beings, how their experience is created. So how I'm feeling my experience right now in the moment. So how our moment to moment experience is created. How I feel happy, how I feel joy, how I feel sadness, how I feel a bit nervous. We start to see, like, how does that happen? It looks like to most of us, and it did to me before I came across the principles, the three principles by Sydney Banks, also known as the inside out understanding. It looks like life is happening to us and it's causing us to have an experience. That's what it looks like most of the time. And even when you learn this, it can still look like this, but you see through that illusion very quickly, through that story. So it looks like that. And then you start to see, well, life is not happening from the inside out, even though it's so compelling and it looks like it is. It looks like the outside people, events, circumstances, politics, how much money you've got in your bank account, all different circumstances. It looks like they can make you feel a certain way and create your experience in the moment. And then when you come across this understanding, it challenges that. And it's an opportunity, and it's an invitation for anybody to just explore, well, is it this or is there something else at play? And so the three principles, what they point to is life is happening, circumstances, people, bank account, or whatever level it's at, politics, life is happening. There's isms in the world. You're not pretending that life is not happening. And it looks like it's happening, they're happening, and it's making you feel a certain way. But really what's at play is that we're experiencing life moment to moment from the inside out. Because of this, there's something at play that we do not see. There's a hidden factor. And that hidden factor is that we have an operating system behind the scenes that takes in information about what's happening. It goes through our filter of conditioning, backgrounds, and what we think and our beliefs, and it creates an idea into the world of what's happening. It creates our experience. we start to see that we're looking through lenses, different lenses at different times. Or, our life is being created from the inside out. I'm feeling angry because I'm thinking about that and that's making me angry. Or I'm feeling really happy about that and I see it as really positive because I'm looking at what's happening, and it's such an instantaneous uh, thing that happens. The information goes in and I'm thinking about that in a happy way. And then I get to feel happy or I get to have an experience. So that's one level of the understanding. And it also points to the fact that we are born and designed with 100% innate well-being, even though it doesn't look like it. But even though things have happened to you in your life, or you've had experiences, and even though individuals may feel broken or lost, helpless, um, or not, or confused, or overwhelmed, or stressed, whatever, all any type of human experience, we are born to have all types of human experiences. And when we find ourselves in any of those human experiences, it can look like it's going to be like this forever. It can feel like I'm broken, feel like I'm never going to get back on my feet. It can feel like I'm never going to feel good about myself again. Or it could look like, how am I going to get to my next level to be in a good place? And what the principles points to is you have access to unlimited resources, unlimited innate health, unlimited clarity, unlimited peace, unlimited boundless freedom, creativity. And so knowing that, you start to look in this direction a bit more. Because normally before knowing this, most people look for peace, happiness, the ability that their resilience outside of themselves, in things, in people. And you start to see, well, those things are temporary. They can give me temporary relief, but I can get longer lasting relief and freedom when I start to explore my internal landscape. Okay, that's what the inside out understanding is for me. It's an exploration of your internal landscape.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And it helps you to have something to kind of hold on to steady you. And if you're on a boat and the boat's a bit rocky, that boat can be rocky, and you've got this as an anchor, and you can bounce with the boat, and it might still go like this, but you can steady yourself. You begin to explore this and have a deeper understanding of it. I want to also say something as well, that the understanding, as we deepen into this understanding, points to who you really are. It points to your wholeness as a human being, your wholeness, that you are a manifestation, an expression. You are, the essence of you is really, really powerful, unlimited, universal mind, in the principles. Somebody else might say God, somebody else might say infinite potential. We are infinite potential in the human form. And so when we know who we are at our core, at the essence, and it's an uncovering, it's an unlearning, it's a rediscovering of ourselves, then knowing who we are at our core really helps ground you. And so when you know who you are, then you can actually then, in this human form, play with being. You're not trying to be something. Being is who you already are. In the principles, it would be the pre-existing state before the human mind creates your existence, this body mind. Being will be here when we're gone, and being will be here before we came. So who we are is our existence is being. That's the pre-existing elements that are there. Then I recognize I'm Jacquie. Then I recognize I'm a woman. Then I recognize I'm a daughter. Then I recognize I'm a coach. Then I recognize I'm not feeling that motivated. They come after.
Mm.
They change. We're talking about, it's not even a state, but it's the space and presence before any state of mind, any way of being. They all change. They change all the time, but this is constant.
Yeah.
So that's what I see as a difference.
Yeah.
But when I know who I am, the more that I know and see who I am, that I am in my wholeness, a human being. And part of being this human being is I'm connected and sourced by this universal energy. And I am conscious awareness. I'm aware of everything that's happening in my world. And then when we know that, what happens is, what I've seen for myself, I'll just say that, is that I then see who I'm being. I'm conscious awareness. I'm aware of how I'm being, and I'm aware of how I want to be and how I can create from that. So then I can play with that and have fun with that, knowing that who I'm being is who I am, who I already am. I'm already okay. I'm already enough.
Mm.
I'm already resourceful. I'm already complete. I don't need to prove. I don't need to do anything to feel enough. I can plan to do more, but then I'm coming from a different place.
Yeah.
I'm not using that to feel enough. I'm not feeling that. And when I do find that I'm doing that, I can come back and remember who I am, like reconnect. We're human beings, so we sometimes identify with the thing that we want to be while being I'm being a powerful leader in the world. So that's a way of being that you're creating. And if you're not being that, that doesn't make you any less. Because who you are is completely connected to the whole planet. Like we are part of the universe. We're part of universal mind. If we look at the world and what's been created, we're one of the things that's been created.
Wow.
So that's how I see being, and I think it's a really great opportunity for people to just get it. What I hear and see is it gives people the presence to get really present to who they really are. And when you create your document and it's who you're being, you get to see that all these things are true. All of this.
Yeah.
All of this and nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. All of this and more and nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love it.
This is really fascinating. And I'm so grateful I came across the principles first before I came across being. Because if I would have thought about it as a positive psychology hack or something. When we have a foundation, we can have fun creating all this. We can have fun forgiving, but our true essence doesn't even need forgiveness. It just is. So that understanding, having that, and then realizing that I can have fun with this, I can create. And even if I wanted to create something and something else emerge, that's still okay. So I loved how you explained how, coming from a very deep understanding of the principles, you also see the value of creating a document and the process of self-forgiveness. So I've been asking all the coaches who have come here to say something about the document. Jackie, can you say what does the document mean to you?
Yeah, it's a great question. What it means to me is it's a it means that I get the opportunity to constantly remind myself and create myself and who I want to be in the world. Like we don't, you wake up in the morning and it's so easy to be dominated by things to do, what to do next or what you haven't done. And to wake up and to get present just to who you really are. There is nothing that you really need. That you're perfect as you are. And then just explore, like, who am I in the world? Who am I being in the world? And to really embody this creation that we get to play. We are creative beings. We're always creating. So this document really helps. My document really helps me to see what I'm creating, consciously creating, as a foundation for the rest of the day, or for the foundation for my life. It's like, gives me a direction.
Yeah.
What will come out of that, I don't know. Like, what gets manifested, that's not my job to worry about. That's why I always say, all right, the outcome is not for me to worry about. But it's a deep presence in itself. And where I want my creative energy to go.
Mm.
Because we're always creating. In every moment, the mind is creating. Our bodies are creating. Blood vessels, oxygen. It's just this constant creation. We are part of life, we're part of nature. So we're part of this flow of creation. And so when we can see that we are part of this flow of creation, we kind of get conscious and think, well, what am I creating?
Mm. Oh.
Sometimes that's the very first time you even ask yourself that question. Really? And what do I want to create?
Mm.
Or bring it into the world and make a difference in the world? Because everything that we do or say makes a ripple effect in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And something came to mind, and I'm thinking, like, even if I'm saying to myself, today I'm not going to create anything, even then we are creating I'm not going to create anything. I'm just going to lie in bed and do nothing. That's a creation.
Yeah. And if that's what feels like the right thing for you to do, then do that. Sometimes the body needs rest. Sometimes the body needs pause. Sometimes we need to take care of our bodies and ourselves. And, from the work that we do with the principles, we know that when the body quiets and the mind quiets down and we just tune into ourselves, um, it may look like we're slowing down, but actually we get so much more creative and a lot more things can get done.
Yeah.
I worked with a company recently, myself and a colleague, and they asked us to speak about how decision making and a financial firm, how decision making helps, how a quiet mind helps decision making. And these were very senior people. And through us having a day with them around speaking about how the mind works and how it creates our experience and deep, getting more in tune with the deeper parts of ourselves, our deeper essence, our deeper self. They really got to see, like, wow, they got to see the implications, like, with this quieter mind, they just have less on their mind. They've got more headspace and more bandwidth, right? And things that are not no longer helpful or they don't need to have in their mind can just naturally just dissolve and fall away. It just gives them more space, more presence, and we can do a lot of things in the world. We can be very busy, but the biggest impact is who we're being in the world. That, you know, when we're being, our being really has the impact. Not what we say, what could be relevant, what we say, but our being trumps it all.
Love it. This is so beautiful. There is definitely something I would like you to expand on, and that actually comes from your own document. So I've been picking one line from every speaker's document, and this I think would be really helpful for anyone who's looking in the direction of empowerment to see at a deeper level. And this is the line from your document, Jackie. I am that. I have everything I need in abundance to create what I want with ease. Why is this line in your document? And say a bit more if anything else comes for you to share.
That line came out. I didn't, it, it just unfolded. It was just a word that I kind of wrote, a sentence I wrote. My document is words were getting written on the page. That's the only way I can say it. They were getting written on the page. I didn't kind of craft it. It's got to be like this. And why that came out was, it's a reminder for me, and anybody listening to this, I want you to listen to this as if it was you, what I'm saying. But we have everything that we need to create what we want. And if we don't have it physically, we have this absolute innate wisdom that will guide us to the resources that we need, the people that we need, connect you to the right people when you need them. So it may not look like sometimes that we've got everything that we need in this moment, but we are inherent, who we are is abundant. We are universal mind in the principles. That's who we are. Universal consciousness. So, and we are an expression of that in the form infinite divine creation. We're talking about infinite divine creation. It has created everything that we are aware of. We have that essence. We are it. We are a creation of it in the world, and so is everybody else. So when I know that, I remember that I have everything that I need and can get access to everything that I need. Or it will come to me in different forms. I can connect and tap into that to create what I want. The things that I want for myself. The things that I want that will be of, like my partner would say, or for a good and wise purpose. The Caribbean thing, a good and wise purpose. When I'm creating for that, for a good and wise purpose, I can trust that I'll be supported by the universe. And it will come to me with ease. Doesn't mean I don't have to do any work. Doesn't mean that I don't have to make effort, take action. That's all included. And through that action and through taking the steps that make sense to me, I'll be guided along the way. And before you know it, things are opening up for you. Things that I would not have imagined. I'm sure, Ronnie, you can agree with this, that you never thought that you would be where you are now. And I would never have thought where I am now when I was at school, even 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. Yeah. And then I've just, along the way, things are opened up and I've seen, oh, that person's doing that. I'd love to do that. Or is that possible for me as well? When you start seeing like, yes, it's for you as well. And actually you might already be doing it, but you just haven't recognized it in yourself. And then you just take the steps forward to create what you want. I had to make it happen.
Yeah.
It can sound like a lot of efforting. And I'm not talking about a lot of efforting. That's why I put that in my document with ease.
Mm.
Because I've done a lot of efforting in my life. I've done a lot of pushing and forcing and trying to get myself into things and that works. And I've also seen that there's another way to do things.
Mm.
Doesn't mean that it doesn't take any work or action. But it's not that forcing and trying to make happen.
Yeah.
And falls for you. Follow the breadcrumbs and you take the next inspired step and then the next inspired step. So there's more inspiration behind it. And even when there is no inspiration, you keep taking the action that you said that you committed to.
Yeah.
You committed to something, you just keep taking the action. And when you forget to take the action or stop taking the action, you recommit.
Yeah.
And things just unfold. You know, if you want to train to be something, you've got to do the training course. If you haven't done it before, there are things that you've got to train in, right?
Yeah.
And you take the course and then you'll meet people on the course and then someone else will say, and we've seen it ourselves being in the AGC school, that we're in the school, we're connected, and then you'd invite me onto this podcast and someone else, like John definitely Dashfield invited me to come and work with, you know, there's just things that happen and unfold.
Yeah.
I could not tell you that is going to happen.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, the ease, that things happen and circumstances unfold that I could not imagine them happening.
Yeah.
So we plan, we let go, and then take the action.
Yeah. It's like the mind can only manufacture what it has already created. It can't create anything new. It will be doing the same old in a slightly different version. Whereas where you're coming from and what you're explaining is that when we let go and we really have this deep understanding, the paths unfold in front of our eyes. Just having even a glimpse of that, Jacquie, is going to transform people's lives for sure.
Oh, that makes my heart go, you know, I can really feel my heart standing there because this is the essence of me. This is the essence of what I see an empowered life and your empowerment program. What I see that you're pointing to is helping people see that the power and freedom. Because when we talk about empowerment and power, for me, what I think people are pointing to is freedom,
Mm.
like inner freedom.
Yeah.
That's the essence of that.
Yeah.
And when we know freedom is not in anything that we achieve or anybody else, that it is internal, it is innate to us. And the more that we are in, the more that we're being freedom, the more that we're being presence, the more that we're being in love in the world, the things that we want to do become easier.
Yeah. There's so much gold here. There's so much treasure here. If you were just to be present to this conversation I'm having with Jacquie and everything that Jacquie is sharing here, it's going to serve you even though you think you already know this. So my invitation to all the listeners and anyone watching this is to really allow themselves that space. Thank you so much, Jacquie.
I've enjoyed it so much. Thank you.